So my first question is, has someone been murdered during the shot?
During filming? No one was murdered in reality during filming. No actors were hurt during the making of the film. I'd like to make that clear. Actually, were they hurt? No one was really hurt.
Pendant le tournage, personne n'a été tué, personne n'a eu mal. Personne à mon souvenir s'est plaint, personne n'est mort. Est-ce que quelqu'un est vraiment mort? Non.
Is Prevenge based on your personal true story?
I would say the film was based on my fears more than on my true story, because I was on the brink of wanting to make a film but also wanting to have a baby, and I thought I would have to choose between the two.
Je dirais que le film est plus basé sur mes peurs, et à l'époque elle était en train de choisir entre faire un film ou faire un bébé. Du coup elle se posait la question un peu sur les deux.
And so really, and I was worried as an actress that, you know, people's perceptions of you change when you have a baby. Maybe they don't cast you anymore, or they think that you've retired. And so I think having a baby, there was a lot of fears about the loss of my identity and the loss of my career and the loss of work and earnings.
Elle s'est demandé en tant qu'actrice à l'époque que si elle avait l'enfant, est-ce qu'elle allait continuer à être reconnue en tant qu'actrice dans le métier. Du coup, elle se posait beaucoup de questions, à savoir si elle allait continuer à être reconnue en tant qu'actrice.
And so I felt like all of my fears and all of my existential fears that I had as well, of like my body changing or fear of mortality, all of those fears, I put them into the film, and it helped me to exorcise the fears, and it was cathartic in that way, because I actually had a really lovely pregnancy and a lovely baby.
À l'époque, elle avait beaucoup de peur avec le corps qui changeait, etc. Et du coup, elle se demandait comment je vais faire à gérer ce changement. Et du coup, elle a utilisé tout ça comme expérience à le mettre dans le film. Et finalement, c'était une expérience merveilleuse parce qu'elle a eu une grossesse magnifique et un bébé magnifique.
How's your body now? Your baby now? Sorry.
Fine, thanks. Oh, I can just about sit down. It's fine. My body's okay. Yeah, how's the baby? Oh, she's fine. She's lovely. I mean, I'm taking her to all the festivals. She was in the edit. She was in the sound mix. She comes to a lot of interviews. She's very expert at all of this kind of work. She's a working baby. That's what I call her.
Mon bébé va très bien. Elle vient à tous les festivals où j'assiste. Elle participe à tous les interviews. Et c'est vraiment un bébé qui travaille avec moi.
But did she play in Prevenge or not?
She does appear very briefly in Prevenge, yes. I mean, but you see her all the time as my bump, of course. And then you see her a little bit, but I don't want to give away the ending.
Oui, on l'aperçoit dans le film, et évidemment, elle fait partie de moi parce que c'était la petite bosse que j'avais, et je ne veux pas dévoiler plus la fin du film.
What about when you cut your...
Well, a lot of people think that was real footage, but it was actually special effects. But we have a very talented special effects expert who created this effect for us, but also did it for us on a really low budget. So it was quite incredible, the effect that we had, and the fact that lots of people are like, is that your cesarean? I'm like, no, I was never going to film that. And anyway, I didn't have a cesarean, but yeah, it wasn't real.
Beaucoup de gens me posent la question, est-ce que c'était vraiment ton ventre qu'on a coupé, votre ventre qu'on a coupé? Et évidemment, non, on a eu de la chance d'avoir un super designer d'effets spéciaux qui nous a construit un magnifique ventre et qui nous a évidemment travaillé, fait un beau travail, et en plus avec un petit budget. Et beaucoup de gens m'ont demandé est-ce que c'était votre césarienne. Non, j'ai eu un magnifique accouchement.
Were you subject to any special legislation for hiring a real pregnant woman as your main actress? I mean you.
We were talking about this earlier. They couldn't get insurance for me, but because the film was so low budget, we just did each day as it came. And if I'd been ill, they would have stopped filming because actually each day was very cheap to film. So we talked about it afterwards, and my producer was like, you know, if you'd needed to stop, we would have stopped. And we would have maybe filmed, you know, after the baby was born, maybe a year later. It wouldn't really have mattered. We could have still continued the project. So there was a minimum risk, really. And also I was the director, so I wasn't planning anything for myself that I wasn't comfortable with. If there was anything too dangerous, I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm only going to go this far. And we had a stunt double and that kind of thing.
Ok, beaucoup de gens me posent la question et du coup j'ai pas pu avoir d'assurance pour le tournage. C'était un film avec un très petit budget. On a pris vraiment le jour par jour. Mes producteurs m'ont soutenu dans le sens où si j'étais malade ou si quelque chose se passait pas dans la norme, évidemment on pouvait arrêter et reprendre le tournage l'année suivante ou plus tard quand j'étais prête. Et puisque j'étais la réalisatrice, je savais à peu près où je voulais aller et puis encore une fois on est vraiment le jour en jour.
Were you inspired by other films? If we say to you that sometimes we think at Rosemary's Baby, for instance, how does it sound to you?
Rosemary's Baby is one of my favourite films. I have like certain horror films that are my favourite, and they're like my touchstone influences, like The Shining and Carrie. These films which are actually about human rites of passage in a way. And I wanted to make a film that was from a female perspective of the rite of passage of pregnancy and more from the inside, the interior of that person, rather than from the outside looking in.
Rosemary's Baby est vraiment une référence pour moi. C'est un de mes films préférés d'horreur, en référence avec Carrie and Shining. Et du coup, j'ai vraiment voulu donner de côté par rapport à une femme enceinte, l'intériorisation de ça et le passage.
Rite of passage, yeah.
Le passage du droit de passage. Voilà.
I guess you know that your subject is a kind of taboo. You use provocation with grace. This is not something strawberries. Where did you find your ideas?
Sorry, I missed the first part.
Yeah.
Can you say again?
I guess you know that your subject is a kind of taboo.
Yes.
And you use provocation with grace. This is not something strawberries.
Strawberries?
Rose is not fancy strawberries.
I don't understand. Sorry.
Because in France they say, I don't know if they do in England, when women are pregnant they crave on strawberries, they say in France.
Really? I've never heard that. That's a French saying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. So it's like this idea of like they're so sweet and that they want sweet things. Like summer
perfect.
and...
It's perfect. Having a baby is perfect.
Yeah.
So where did you find your ideas? Was it in your mind?
Some of it was coming from the real experience of being pregnant, that I was going to yoga classes and I was feeling like an outsider because everything was so... Almost I felt lobotomized. Like everything's really happy and sweet, and I was like, it's not though. You know, bad things are going to happen. I just felt like I was an outsider, and that was sort of an interesting experience to me. And I felt like there was another voice to be heard. And I think I wanted to reflect that in the film. I wanted the film to not be soft and sweet and strawberries and butterflies and all of this. I wanted it to be blood and extreme colours, extreme emotions and dark,
like
you
in
know.
real life.
Yeah, like my real life. No, but I just feel pregnancy is about a roller coaster of emotions. It's like up, down, angry, happy, vivid. It's very intense, and you have very psychedelic dreams, like very bright dreams. And I just wanted to put all of those things into the texture of the film.
Quand j'ai commencé à être enceinte, pendant ma grossesse, j'ai fait des cours de yoga. Et quand j'y allais, tout le monde était très zen, genre tout va bien. Mais non, pas tout va bien. Elle était un mix d'émotions et durant le film, elle voulait transcrire ça. Que c'est pas tout fraise, papillon, que vraiment c'est une mix d'émotions et que dans le film elle voulait mettre justement le sang, le cri, voilà, dévoiler tout ce qu'elle pouvait vivre durant sa grossesse.
You chose in your screenplay not to focus on the crime process. You prefer to focus on the humoristic effect based on chiaroscuro, and you evict from your story the police investigation. Was it on purpose?
So that we didn't have a police investigation.
That's right.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I did a film 4 years ago called Sightseers, and some similarities in that it was a couple committing murders, and we kept toying with the idea of putting a police investigation, and it always kills the story, I think, because it's a fantasy. For a start, I think Prevenge especially, it's not real. It's almost like a theatrical, lots of theatrical scenes that almost could just be happening in her head because she's crazy. So as soon as you bring police into it, it kind of grounds it, and it means that you're stopping a lot of interesting things that could happen. And I often see the film as a superhero film. It's just an anti-superheroine film. So she's got these superpowers, and really nobody finds out what she does. And part of her superpower is that no one suspects a pregnant woman anyway. So kind of the joke that I'm playing is that she never gets caught anyway, because nobody would ever think that it was her doing these things.
Il y a 4 ans, j'ai fait un film où justement je me posais la question, est-ce qu'on allait mettre une série investigation dedans? C'était des groupes, 4 groupes qui tuaient. Et elle trouve que mettre de la police et mettre une investigation, ça ancre l'histoire, ça met moins d'intrigue. Et dans Prevenge, on apprend plus tard vraiment que la femme est enceinte, et jamais on imaginerait qu'une femme enceinte pourrait tuer. Et justement, c'est ce qui rend très théâtral et presque surréel qu'une femme enceinte ne peut pas faire ça. Voilà, c'était très long.
No, sorry. Yes, I know. I got too excited. Yeah, and I was saying that it's to me, she's like a anti-superheroine. Yes.
Et pour elle, c'est comme ce personnage est une anti-héros. Elle croit pas dans les héros. C'est une anti-héros totale.
You're a very busy woman. How did you find the time for writing Prevenge?
Oh, well, I did it in about 2 weeks. I had to. Because I had the offer to do a film, and I was 6 months pregnant.
J'ai eu l'offre de faire un film, j'étais 6 mois enceinte.
And I knew it was a good offer, and I wanted to do it. But I was pregnant, so I wrote the idea so that I could play a pregnant character.
Donc elle a rapidement écrit l'histoire, elle était 6 mois enceinte, elle a rapidement écrit l'histoire pour qu'elle puisse jouer ce personnage.
Yeah.
And my last question, you also play in Adult Life Skills on Shubifan.
Oh yeah.
So is this your festival?
I'm not in those films that much. I think I'm in one scene in Chubby Funny. I haven't seen that film yet, but I loved working on it. And Adult Life Skills, I'm only a small part, but I don't know, I'm really lucky that I got some really good jobs and lovely people to work with, so I'm never going to complain about that. I think the audience might complain that like they think Britain's got not enough actresses or something. There's the same woman's face on the screen. They might be sick of me by the end of it.
Donc dans Chubby Funny, j'ai vraiment eu une petite séquence, et dans Adult Life Skills, on me voit aussi très peu. J'ai vraiment eu de la chance de pouvoir participer à ces films très agréables à tourner. Et maintenant, je me demande si la France va se dire qu'en Angleterre, on n'a pas assez d'actrices et qu'ils vont peut-être avoir marre de mon visage.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you.
Love you too.
Thank you.